So with the holidays finally upon us, Microcenter is here for all of your PC part needs. And the biggest question we get is, what parts should I pick? And frankly, it always comes down to use case and budget. So today I'm thinking, let's go for a gaming PC, and we're gonna aim for about $1,000 for our budget. So to do this, since we're not at Micro Center right now, we're in our studio, I'm gonna use our website and I'm gonna use our custom PC builder to configure all of the parts that we need for an ideal $1,000 gaming PC. So I'm on our website right now, and you can see that if you go to products, PC builders, you can go to our custom PC builder. And this allows you to select all of the parts necessary to put together your ideal build. So when you open up the builder, you can start with our bundle and save option, which is going to bring up all of our bundles. Now, our bundles do change frequently, but at the time of recording this video, we have a lot of bundles in stock right now, and they are great value. For this $1,000 PC build, I'm thinking let's go with our 7600X 3D bundle, which is $399. We do have a step-up option if you want to go for a different motherboard, but I'm going to go with our base bundle for $399. That's going to be the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X 3D CPU, Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard, and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 RAM from G.Skill. So the bundle already took care of a lot of the major components. We have our CPU, our motherboard, and our RAM, and you can even see the discounted prices on the builder here. So that's really cool. Now that gives us about $600-ish to play with for the rest of our budget. So the next big thing to take into consideration is our video card. So for this $1,000 gaming PC, I'm aiming for 1080p gaming. So I'm thinking a 4060 is going to be ideal. A 4070 Super would be nice, but let's take a look at some 4070 Supers. That's going to be about $500, close to $600 right now. So yeah, this one right here, Asus 609.99. Now I could do a 4070 for $519, but I'm thinking 4060 is probably the best spot to aim for. So I'll go to the search bar, just type in 4060. That'll bring all of our 4060 options. Now our motherboard is black, so I want to go for probably a black build. If we went with a white motherboard, then we have some white options for the GPU, but I'm thinking we're going to do all black, maybe some RGB. So why don't we take a look here? So all the 4060s are in about the $300 range. I see this gigabyte option right here. So 8 gigabytes of VRAM. That's still really good for 1080p gaming. So you're going to do just fine there. I could step up with the 4060 Ti for $429, but that's not going to give me a lot of wiggle room for the case and everything else. So why don't we stick with this 4060? We'll do the gigabyte WindForce overclocked. So we're at $699, so that gives me about $300 to play with for the rest of the build. Let's move on to storage, and I'm thinking I definitely want at least 2 terabytes. So why don't we look at capacity, aim for 2 terabytes, and let's see what we have priced here. Now the Inland, that's a pretty good deal. 2 terabytes for $124.99. We have a Western Digital SN770 for 2 terabytes at $119. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we go with this Western Digital? So for $119, this is Gen 4, which is going to be fast enough for gaming. That's going to be more than fine. $819, so that's where we're at right now. So why don't we move on to case? Now for case, we have a lot of different options, and I'm thinking I want a more budget case. So not a dual chamber. I don't want anything too big. I'm not going to need a ton of fans. And since the 7600X 3D runs relatively cool, I don't have to go too crazy. So looking through our cases, we have a lot of different options here. I like this Lianli LandCool 205. So this LandCool 205, it's got the mesh front, has 2 fans on the front, 1 on the rear, and looking here, you can see the info. So it comes with 2 140 millimeter fans for the intake, and then 1 120 millimeter fan for the exhaust. So that's actually pretty good that that's included. Now we have a Corsair option for $74.99, so that'll save me a couple of bucks. Let's see, what does that one come with? Yeah, so this one doesn't come with any fans. So for an additional $15, the LandCool 205 will come with 3 fans already pre-installed. So that's actually a pretty good deal because fans are going to run anywhere from like $10 to $12 a piece, depending on which one you get. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with the Landcool 205. I like that one. I think that one's going to work nice. So 909. So we have about $81 to play with for the rest of our budget. We're going to need a power supply. Now, the nice thing is that our PC builder will filter out parts for compatibility. So if you pick an AMD CPU, you'll get an AMD cooler, and it also displays the estimated wattage. Right now it says our estimated wattage is 284 watts, and that's with this 4060 and this 7600X3D. So that's actually on the lean side. So we can actually go with a smaller power supply. Maybe let's aim for like a 650 watt. Oh, here we go, 650 watt semi-modular. That's gonna work pretty well. $59.99. Yeah, let's go with that. So $969, and we got a couple bucks left. We definitely have to get a heatsink. Now I'm thinking 212. There it is, right there. Cooler Master Hyper 212, 20 bucks. Pure Rock, I know, is actually really good. That one's going to be a really good cooler as well. That one's $44.99, but I've only got a couple of dollars left to play with. Now I could go with the Pure Rock Slim, and that's $26.99. But I know that the 212, the Cooler Master 212, works really, really well with this CPU, so that one's going to be just fine. Cool, there we go, $989. So I have $11 more to play with if I really want to. But this is basically the entire build right here. So 7600X3D, we have our motherboard, 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is going to be really, really great for gaming. 16 gigabytes just isn't cutting it anymore. 32 gigabytes, that's kind of like the minimum now. Our 4060, that's going to do us pretty well. 2 terabytes of storage, definitely going to need that for a lot of games. I really like this Landcool, and it has the fans that I need. Frankly, I don't think I need to add any fans. I think it's going to do just fine because it's going to give you all the airflow you need for that 4060. That 212 is going to run ice cold. That 7600 with that 212, it's a single tower cooler. It's going to run ice cold. And you have RGB on the fan that's on the cooler, and you have the RGB that's on the fans on the case. So this is a really nice, lean gaming build. And it's really that easy to just pick all the parts on our PC builder. Now, if you have more questions, obviously always feel free to come to a microcenter and talk to one of our associates, because they could walk you through this entire process, and maybe they can help point out some things that you might not think of when you're looking at the PC builder. For instance, this is a great $1,000 gaming PC, but what if I want to do some productivity like video editing? I might want to swap some of these parts around, and that might change our budget slightly. But $989, that's pretty awesome. Let's see if we can put another one together. I'll try a different configuration. I'll save this link. You always get a custom link every time you do a build with the PC builder, so that's a nice way to share with your friends, and you can ask them for their thoughts. All right, so I cleared my build. I want to start over. I want to aim a little bit higher, but I want to use the same 7600X3D bundle. I know that that CPU can go pretty far, especially into 1440 gaming. So we have our bundle, and I'm thinking, let's go a little bit higher with video card. I want to go with a 4070 Ti Super. All right, so I want to go with a 4070 Ti Super. We have this one from Zotac for $769. Now, this is going to be 16 gigabytes of VRAM. So this is going to carry you pretty far. The 7600X3D, it's going to do perfectly fine with this GPU. I mean, we're already at $1,100. So I'm thinking 1440p, let's aim for $1,500. And let's see if we can throw in a monitor as well. That'd be kind of cool. I'm going to go for another 2 terabyte, but I'm thinking for this one, why don't we go with, I'm going to go for another 2 terabyte, but I'm thinking for this one, why don't we go with a Samsung 990 EVO? So I went with a 990 EVO, we're at $1,300. Now let's look at a case. Now for this one, I'm thinking I want to go dual chamber. I want to try something a little bit bigger and something a little bit cooler. Now I like the O11 Visions from Lianli. Those are always pretty cool. But we have a bunch of height cases that are pretty awesome. So we have a bunch of cool height cases in stock. I like this one, the Y60. I like the red. And you're able to mount the GPU vertically, which is kind of cool. And it comes with all of that built in, which I really like. I think aesthetically, it's going to be pretty sweet. It's got tons of fan bays, so that's going to look pretty nice. Yeah, let's go for it. I want to be a little bit more flexible with this build. I want to see if I could push it just a little bit, and we'll see where we end up. All right, so we're at about $1,400 for power supply. Let's go with a 750. Yeah, we'll go modular for this one. I'm going to want to finagle the cables to make it look kind of nice. This Corsair 750 watt, 80 plus gold, $100. That's not bad. We're definitely going to be north of that $1,500 mark, just a little bit. Now, I definitely want to go air cooler again on this one. Now we have the Pure Rock. I'll go with that one because that one's going to be all black. And that one's probably going to look pretty good in this case. I don't see the need to go for an AIO for the 7600X3D. I think in terms of performance, it's overkill. I think an air cooler is going to do just fine, just a simple single tower. It's going to be perfect. Now, if you wanted an AIO, it's really just going to be just for aesthetics, right? I think for this level of CPU, it really is just an aesthetic choice. I'm still trying to be somewhat budget conscious, even though I'm splurging a little bit on this configuration. I think I'll just go with the all black, Be Quiet Pure Rock 2, and we'll just go from there. Cool. So 1,634, that's not bad. We went a little bit above our $1,500 range. We could bring it down a little bit. I could swap out this 4070 Ti Super for a 4070 Super. We can go from 16 gigabytes to 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and frankly, we'll be just fine. I will still hit 1440p gaming, and that'll shave off at least like $200. But I'm thinking I kind of want to keep this configuration as is. It's a nice case. It's a nice card. It's going to perform very, very well. And the CPU is going to carry you for a long time. So I think this configuration is just fine. But you do have the flexibility of kind of changing your configuration a little bit to find that sweet spot, right? If this price point is a bit too much for you, you can just swap out this GPU. Let's do 4070 Super. So here we go, 609, 4070 Super Asus. So stepping down in GPU to a 4070 Super, that brought us to 1474. So we did hit that $1,500 mark. The only thing is we're going to need some fans. So we can go down here. We can add our case fans. Now this has a bunch of fan bays, and I'm thinking you're going to need definitely some intake, definitely some on the top and maybe one on the back. So we're looking at like 7 fans. And I'm thinking about the builds. The case is red. The CPU cooler doesn't have any RGB on it. And the GPU itself, I mean, it's got a little bit of blue. It's got like a blue streak. Yeah, it's got a blue chassis with the plastic, but there's not gonna be much RGB there. So we can keep this one a little bit simple. Yeah, I'm thinking we can go with the Be Quiet Pure Wings 3. So those are $10 a pop. And I'm thinking 3 in the front. Let me double check. The nice thing about the configurator is it has all the specs here, so you can just pull it up if you have any questions. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the side, 1 in the rear, and 3 on the top for 120s. But I'm thinking just 3 on the top, we'll do 1 rear, and we'll do the side. I'm not going to do the bottom for this one. So that still brings you to 6 fans. So I could just change the quantity here to 6, 1534, and that's with a full fan suite. And these are non-RGB fans, so I'm still staying with kind of like an understated build. I just want the case to kind of pop with the red, plus you have the red on the stand for the GPU here, so that's going to look pretty cool. And we were able to hit that $15 mark. I mean, the 4070 Ti Super, I would still want to go for just for longevity, because that's going to last you a really long time. And a 4070 Ti Super is practically a 4080 in terms of performance. And the 4070 Super, 12 gigabytes of VRAM paired with the CPU, you're still going to get really good performance for 1440p gaming. And you can even go, we can add a monitor, and why don't we just sort by Resolution, do 1440. Oh, there's an Acer curved, 27-inch, 170 hertz, 150 bucks. Not bad. There's another Acer. This one's a 31.5 inch. I like 27 inch. I feel like that's a good sweet spot of a size. Let's take a look. We have an MSI 27 inch curved, 180 hertz. Not bad. This one's a VA panel. Let me look at the Acer. Let me check that one out. This one's also a VA panel. Okay, so I think in this price range, we're gonna find a lot of VA panels. VA panels, I think, are fine for gaming. I mean, they're good for that high refresh rate. I like IPS panels because I do some like color editing on the side, so you get that color accuracy. But VA panels are still frankly fine. And the viewing angles with the curved, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, why don't we go with this MSI? If you're in the market for a new PC, start with our custom PC builder. It's a really good place to sort of look through our inventory, check out what parts we have available, and see what matches your ideal use case and your ideal budget. Now, with our 7600 X3D combo, we were able to do a $1,000 build and a $1,500 build, one for 1080p gaming, one for 1440p gaming, and there's some flexibility there. We could have gone a little bit higher if we wanted to even maybe get into some 4K gaming, because that CPU, it'll keep up. But I think $1,000, $1,500, those are really good price points for a gaming PC right now. That's a really, really good deal, and it's going to last you a long time. And remember that AM5 platform is going to be supported until 2027. So any future upgrades that come down the line, AMD's got your back there, which is really nice. So again, stop by your local Micro Center, and if you want to use our custom PC builder, it's always available for you, and it's actually a really fun toy to play around with if you want to look at your ideal configuration. Or you can just come by and talk to one of our knowledgeable associates, and they're more than happy to help you walk you through this entire process. And if you don't have a Micro Center near you, why don't you comment #I want a Micro Center near me.